The greatest 2 minutes in sports is Saturday, and Caterer Victor Rede is ready for it. He joins us with traditional Kentucky Derby fare and libations. Hello, Victor.
Hi, Nikki. Great to see you again.
It's always good to have you, especially for every occasion, because you always have just the right ideas for us. And before we get to the food, tell me, what is traditional Kentucky Derby fare?
Well, Kentucky Derby fare is kind of like tailgating at a ball game, but they kick it up a little more. So
oh, okay.
They got a lot of this. And a lot more of this.
You gotta have a little fun.
That's right.
Hey, it's a short event. It's only 2 minutes, so you have to make the most of all that time around it.
That's
right?
it. That's right.
I mean, that's the thing. So, okay. So, what are the things you would recommend making for this occasion?
I like to mix up a lot of flavors. So, meats with some sweets, with some cheesiness.
I like that. Meats with sweets.
Meats and sweets and greens and little crustinis.
Ooh, yeah. You know I love anything with bread involved.
So,
okay. So what are you making here on the grill?
I've got this tenderloin that I've marinated overnight in some of that bourbon. Okay, so we've got a delicious bourbon that's pretty rare. And I've seared the outside with some seasoning. You know, what I'm going to do is I want to slice it really thin. And we're going to make these little crustinis that have just olive oil, garlic, and butter, just kind of simple. Perfect. And you're going to assemble them all different, just with a little bit of some cheese. You can put a few with everything on there. These are some wilted greens with arugula and some balsamic. And then we've got some blackberries. We got an Oregon creamy blue, so it's a little smoother than the pungent blues. I candied some walnuts.
Candied walnuts are my favorite.
And then I made this delicious bourbon Bernays. So it's like your classic Bernays, but then it's got some of this killer bourbon in there.
There's a theme going here.
That's right,
Victor. It's called the bourbon theme.
The bourbon
I'm going to have a candied walnut while you do this. Okay, so you're going to slice it super thin.
I'm going to slice them real thin and see how nice and medium rare to rare.
Okay.
And I'm going to top
That's the best way to eat it, huh?
Like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is great because I think whenever it's something like this, any kind of sporting event, we always like good finger food.
That's
but you know, you don't have to sacrifice taste and class just because you're having finger food. You can still have these amazing treats that you would have at your finest restaurants, really.
You know, that's a good point, because like for our catering, most of our catering is appetizers, but they're really not appetizers. They're like all entrees. So people order like 8 to 12 different appetizers, and they're like entrees, you know, so they're very filling, and they're very robust and full, and a lot of flavors and colors. So that's kind of the trend that I find in the last few years, rather than a traditional, you know, meat and potato and starch and a salad. So
and by the way, you know, you're giving great tips on how people can do this on their own, but they can call you for catering services. And so we'll get to that in a moment. I just want people to know that they can actually have Victor, who is always ready to cater.
Always ready to cater.
All right, so I'm going to top some of these.
We're catering.
Can I do that?
Yeah, I'm going to hand it over to you.
All right, so we're going to swap plates.
Okay.
You give me that one.
I'm going to make a couple of vegetarians because Matt might want to try some of the.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to put some greens.
Put some greens first, and they're nice and bitter with a little bit of balsamic. And
I love the balsamic. It's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
So just top a few of these like this.
Yeah, look how pretty that's going to look.
Oh, wow.
And then the last thing you're going to do is put some of this Bernays.
That's the last, right?
So I'm
See, now another thing that you always do that I always appreciate is that you always have clever ways to make things look good. So aside from the fact that they taste good, there's always beauty in the presentation. You know what I mean?
And that's half. I mean, the presentation's got it'll sell your taste buds, and if it looks great, it's gonna taste great. And you know, a big part of our catering is the presentation. So we do a lot of color and a lot of beautiful garnishing and a lot of height on the table. So you have you know, these colors that go up and down, and then the hot food follows that. And so it's an art in just the presentation of.
And another thing you said that I thought was kind of cute is meats with sweets.
Meats with sweets.
You always combine different tastes.
It's like cooking with Vic and Nick.
Cooking with Vic and Nick. Aw. You know, for those who don't know, Victor was one of our very first guests ever on New Mexico Style, and you have consistently been one of our favorites, and we love having you here. We really do.
It's always great to be here.
I want to try one of these. These things are looking good. So let's tell everybody how they can contact you for your catering services and those amazing ice sculptures, by the way.
That's right. So 463-6756 is the number to reach me, and the more notice, the better. But you know, a lot of times I've got some great servers and chefs, and bartender, so we can usually pull it off even if we're in the weeds slam with a lot of catering.
Good to know.
So.
All right, so we're going to
absolutely.
continue to make some more
Yeah,
for the rest of the crew, but can we
Okay.
have some for ourselves
Shall we try?
first? Yes, and we just, before we have a mouthful, I just want to say thanks for being here.
Hey, it's great to be back.
Cheers.
Happy Kentucky Derby
We'll
Day.
be right back.
Today's chef appearance is sponsored in part by Ben E. Keith Food Service Distributors.